All right, let's try to hit an all-time PR. It's not very often that I get to actually attempt an all-time PR. Can't remember the last time I really attempted one, but you know, we've been in off season for about 7 months now, and it's time to kind of test the waters with some heavy weight. It's still a variation with a blast press, but we're looking to go up to like 170 kilos, which is not far off my best push press out of the rack. So it is very simple. It's just working up to a top single. Yeah, normally I do a lot of timed rest, a lot of submaximal stuff. 2 weeks ago I went up to 155, which felt pretty good. And like there was some in the tank. That day, maybe I was good for 160, 165. So we're just hoping with a little bit more positional work with time rest last week, I could really nail a good position and get a nice PR. So I haven't used a ton of gear this off season, but today we're gonna use like all of it. So knee sleeves, belts, wrist wraps, warm pants, these babies on, and then I may even put some elbow sleeves on. I'm not too sure. As long as it doesn't throw off my rack position, I might add some of those. Just honestly, just for a little bit of a confidence boost, just feel a little more secure. I don't really get a help with a whole lot, especially an elbow sleeve that's not super tight or bulky, but it could just give that little bit of mental help for me to complete the weight. The warm-up scheme here is been kind of going red-green, go back and forth a little bit. So I have this, which is gonna be 115. I'll probably do like 135, then like 150. And I've been taking like multiple sets at this instead of taking progressively smaller jumps. Might just take multiple sets at some of these weights to really feel it out. And then from 150, I'll probably just jump up to 170. So I'm gonna test out here if I wanna use this elbow sleeve or not. They're kind of bulky, so I might not want to because it might throw off my rack position. What I'm gonna do is a contrast rep. So I did 115 before. I'm gonna do it again, so it's the same amount of weight with just one element added. That's gonna allow me to have a good gauge on how much it helped or hampered my performance. If I had gone up and it moved slower, well, there's more weight, so it's easier to kind of see there's a difference. But here, you can really hone in on if it helped or not. Actually doesn't feel too bad. Oh, we're at 135, one of the closer to working weight warm-up sets. This is like not a hard one, but this is a really important set because it's not a difficult weight, but it's enough that I have to think to make sure that I don't get out of position, or I could, you know, end up grinding it a little bit. This is a really great rep to refine my dip and drive, so I don't have to think when I go heavier than this. What I want is it to go like straight from my shoulders directly overhead without really any slowing down. That will be a good indication that my leg drive is good, the connection between my lower body and upper body is good, and I'm ready for some big weights. Just trying to keep focus high, arousal medium to low. Fuck. Fuck. How is 5 kilos more that much harder? I don't know. Like that felt so easy.
You were right there on the head.
God. Yeah. All right, well, that didn't really go as planned. So I went up to 170, and you know, I felt pretty good on the last warm up. Everything felt like it was firing right. Did my first time at 170, and you know, it got a little bit out ahead of me. I just knew immediately I wasn't going to be able to grind it out. It was just out of position. I wasn't well leveraged. I tried a couple more times and just didn't have enough to really give it a good pop up. Then I just took 5 kilos off and flew up, you know. I'm not really sure what happened. It could have been a little mental, or just that 170 prevented me from getting in that just like slightly better position to lock it out. To be honest, after my obviously knee injury and having had a couple surgeries from injuries, a lot of these big weights are much more mentally taxing than anything. When I go up to some of these weights, one of the, like, I don't really care about failing. It's more so about potentially being injured afterwards. So it's about trying to like silence those things, because the more you worry about it, the more you try to prevent it, you can actually put yourself in a bad situation and get injured. So, I think 170 was just in my head a little bit. I had been kind of building up for a couple weeks. So maybe it was just a little bit outside of that range. But overall, 165 is still a big PR. 155 was my PR before. So you get a 10 kilo PR is great. I can't really complain about that at all. Especially, I'm at 287-ish pounds maybe now. So I'm still 40 plus pounds under, when I'm usually around my heaviest when I'm competing. Between 320 and 330 is usually around that area. So this light and pressing that much is a great sign. My all-time PR push press out of the rack is 400 pounds. Not that I really tried a lot more than that, but we're really on pace for some great numbers. I think if I were to max out my deadlift, we're around, but an actual push press and max out my standard deadlift, we're pretty close to that realm of like 50% of my deadlift being my overhead press, which is a great place to be. So yeah, but I still have some big lifts to finish off this block. Next, on Sunday, I'll have a heavy triple on the squats, which will look to go over 500 pounds. It'll be heel elevated with bands, so quite a bit heavier at the top. We'll see how it goes.